What was your favorite part of the trip?
My favorite part of the trip, I definitely have two. As far as like the cultural experience, I love doing the Great Wall of China. It was amazing. I didn't really realize how great it was going to be until we had to walk over a mile just to get there. And as far as industry experience, I loved going to Lily, seeing a company that was built from the ground up in China and tailored everything that they do to their clientele. So that was really amazing. And having that meeting with Francisco Terra was absolutely awesome. He was amazing.
I think for me, like the one thing that is so interesting is that like I can say that I saw a manufacturing plant in China. And I think really seeing a factory and seeing how big it is, the security, the compound, and how it's kind of off-site from the city. And so I think just seeing the dedication and the precision to make a single garment, going through the entire factory and going to each floor and seeing, quality control, supply management, design and measurement, and really seeing thousands of people work so fast, such a high pace. And it was one of the most amazing things I think I've ever experienced, seeing the machinery, the technology, the innovation. That was certainly one of the most amazing things I think I'll ever see as working in the fashion industry, because not everyone can say it. Not everyone can have the experiences that we had. So that was probably a very memorable thing that I learned on the trip.
So what surprised me the most about the trip is seeing two different cultures that are so different, but at the same time are so similar. When we went to the local university and met with the students there, we're into the same things. We're into, we're so connected with the internet. It really makes the world so much smaller. And so while there were huge cultural differences, it really was so similar as well.
So what was your favorite local food?
My favorite local dish had to be hot pot. It was so good. Just having all this raw like food and vegetables around us, and we just, it really helped, working on our chopstick skills. We were able to just like pick everything up, put it in this boiling hot pot of water, and like it was just, I just felt really authentic. I felt like it was one of our best like family meals that we had together. It was just a lot of fun, and I was not expecting, something like that. I've never seen anything like that here in the United States, so hot pot was definitely my favorite.
And I think probably my favorite part about the meals was that there was a lazy Susan in every table. We ate them all family style. I think it was a great way for us to right off the bat bond with each other, because you're sharing dishes, so you kind of.
So that's a traditional way we we always share. We order dishes and then share. Yeah.
It's very inviting for conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Something else that I'll never forget about the China trip was meeting with Francisco Terra. It was definitely a surprise. I didn't know we were going to do that. I thought when we were going to Lily, we were just going to, kind of go up and down the stairs and see what everybody was doing, but we kind of went in full-fledged and got to have a meeting with Francisco Terra, a head designer of their junior department. And he literally sat down with us and had a, 1 on 10, I guess you could say, interview, and let us ask him all kinds of questions. And one thing that he said that I will take with me forever is, if you can work in China, you can work anywhere. It's so fast-paced. They're hitting the ground running. They're on top of everything. So, if I ever get the chance to go back, I definitely will.
So one afternoon, we got to go meet with a very famous Chinese designer, Chu Yin. She was actually classmates with Dr. Tong when she was in school, and she let us try on. She has a very couture. It's kind of a mix between like Western and Eastern styles. She stays traditional to her Chinese culture, but it's very wearable designs. And so she let us each try on a piece of clothing, so that was very fun.
I remember when I was applying to universities, I remember I visited with my mom and I met with Dr. Tong, and she was talking about the China retail tour, and my mom couldn't stop talking about it on the way home. Like literally, it was all she could talk about on a 6-hour plane ride, like back to where we live. And so she was like, "You have to go. Like I want you to go to the University of Alabama just to have the opportunity to go to China with someone from China, where you can learn every single thing about your industry." And for me, it's kind of a big reason why I chose UA, because they offered this program.
Thank you.
The other schools that I applied to, they never offer something like this. They never offer everything that we saw, everything that we did, the food that we tried, the Beijing Institute of Fashion and Technology, which is your, alma mater. Like, it was really a once in a lifetime, trip. And I want to go back again. And like for me, like, if I could tell anyone to go, you have to go. It's a trip you'll never forget. You see things, you experience things, and you take a lot back with you. I kind of feel like China will always have like a special place in my heart because it was such an amazing thing that I did. It's very far away. It's on the other side of the world and completely different culture, completely different language and food. And like, I'm just so happy that like I went on the trip. I learned so much about myself and, the world and the way people live. And I met friends that, I know I'll have for a lifetime. So studying abroad was certainly one of the best things I've ever done.
So what Chinese words or phrases did you learn during your trip?
Oh, not too many. One.
Xi, which means thank you, and ni hao, which means hello. So they're hard to pronounce, but those were the two that we certainly used.
Stuck with the most.
Use the most. We'd say hello and say goodbye to the cab driver, and then I think they'd be surprised when we would speak to them in their own language, be like xi, and then I think they would respond back to us. So that allowed us to really interact with the locals.
Goodbye.